Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So today I'm going to talk about a couple of duels that I have recently played, and when you look at this hand, unfortunately we don't have our main combo starters. We drew a dusted gold, but as you remember, I only run 2 copies of evil hero cards in my deck, at least in this deck list, so that's why we cannot do anything. So that's why I'm just going to activate its effect in order to bait my opponent. My opponent doesn't play Ash Blossom, and I set Forbidden Droplet and pass my turn. This is a really unfortunate hand, but it happens. Let's just not give up and continue playing. So, our opponent is playing branded Dracotail, and they started with Lucaeus. So this is limited 1 currently, and they will try to search for 5 mana. I know that, and because I'm going to chain with Forbidden Droplet, and another reason is I want to discard Malicious to the graveyard so that I can use its effect, because I don't have any other place, as you can see. Let's continue. Lucaeus' effect is negated, so I was thinking like, what if my opponent bricked as well, just like me? But unfortunately, they have Kato Dracotail, which is unfortunate, so they will just search for 5 mana, and they will use his effect in order to fusion summon. But at that moment, we activate Fuvalos, because we have no cards in our field, and our opponent doesn't play Ash Blossom, so we get to play a second copy of Fuvalos, and both of them will stack together. So that means the moment my opponent fusion summons a monster to their field, we will be able to draw 2 cards from our deck. And my opponent decides to fusion summon Artelion. So if you don't know, this card basically returns a bunch of cards from the field or graveyard to the hand. And the cards that we draw are Forbidden Droplet and Imperm. Again, we still couldn't be able to draw any single combo starter. So my opponent tries to resolve his effects, but because I have Imperm and because we control no cards in my field, I decide to chain with his effect and negate it, because I don't want him to play more fusion monsters, because this is the second turn, which means that our opponent can OTK us. So that's why I'm trying to prevent his plays. So my opponent has nothing else. So basically his end is not that great either. We are not the only one who just bricked. They set Flame, so that means they can negate one of my spell cards when I activate it, and also they can draw 1 card. So we need to outplay this card. Finally we draw a combo starter. So that's why I decide to bait my opponent with Malicious, with Dark Contact, and that's why I'm just doing these plays. But unfortunately our opponent plays Ghost Spell, which I wasn't expecting honestly, but it's not a big deal. So the bait has worked. Now, he is going to activate Flame and try to negate my card. Luckily, we have another copy of Forbidden Droplet, so that means we are going to send equal to the graveyard. We are going to resolve our search, and my opponent won't be able to negate my card, and also my opponent won't be able to draw 1 card from their deck. And we will be able to cut the attack points of Artelion into half, so that means we have a better chance to beat this card, because originally it has 3k attack, which might be a struggle for the moment, since we don't have proper cards. We search for Stratos, we normal summon and try to resolve his effect, but the moment I try that, my opponent plays another hand trap, which is Ghost Ogre. Now luckily, Ghost Ogre doesn't negate the card, it just destroys the card. So that's why we can still continue doing our combos. So these duels are kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. So sometimes you should have hope and just continue a couple of more turns and see if you can win the match or not. Now this is the second game and we are going first again. When you look at our hands, we have 2 hand traps, we have 2 combo starters and 1 break. Ash Blossom is always good against cards like Maxi, Fuvalos, etc. And we are going first, but I didn't decide to play Purilia. If you prefer, you can, because your opponent maybe can do some tier 0 plays during your turn. So I decided to normal summon Stratos. You can also normal summon Vion, but you will see why I decided to normal summon Stratos. So I search for Masquerade Fountain for 2 reasons. Number 1, I already have Vion, and if you remember our combo line from my previous videos, we want to summon this guy to the field and we would like to make search, polymerization, hero card, etc. Okay, but I have already used my normal summon, so that's why I search for Fountain. And the second reason why I search Fountain is, if my opponent has Draw Lockbird in their hand, that means I can still special summon DPE and Dark Love from my deck, and you will see how. And my guess was correct. My opponent has played Draw Lockbird, but that's fine. I know that this deck loses to Draw Lockbird most of the time, but we have all the pieces that we need to set our board. Now, I special summon Fountain. I don't special summon Vyon, now you will see why. We go for Xyz summon into number 60 Duelist and use his effect immediately in order to send my materials to the graveyard and special summon Stratos back. The moment we send my Fountain, when this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, I can actually set Mask Change. We will go for Anaconda, because first, we are not locked into the hero monsters, and second, the summoning conditions are super easy, 2 effect monsters. So that's why now we can special summon DPE by using our materials. Now, not only we have DPE, but also we have a Dark Attribute Hero Monster. So that means we can just chain with Mask Change and special summon Dark Love to our field. So this is a really nice way to play under Draw Lockbird. You might be wondering why I have destroyed Verta Anaconda. Well, I was thinking like maybe my opponent has a board breaker like Super Polymerization. So just to be safe, I destroyed Verta Anaconda. Because we control only one Dark Master, our opponent won't be able to use Super Polymerization on us easily, and we have to protect this card at all cost so that we can activate Mask Change and special summon Dark Love. Now, I still don't know what my opponent plays, but they activate Emergency Teleport. So first I was thinking like, should I chain with Mask Change? But then I remembered that I have Ash Blossom in my hand. So first, let me just use Ash Blossom and wait what my opponent is about to play. Because I still have no information about his deck, so it's just better to relax and observe. And the moment I activate Ash Blossom, my opponent decides to play Forbidden Droplet from his hand and discard one card from his hand, which is Jet Synchron. So now I have somewhat knowledge about my opponent's deck. He is playing a Synchron deck. But again, I still don't chain with Mask Change, because if I do, the chain resolves backwards, as you know. First Dark Love will be summoned, and then Forbidden Droplet will resolve and negate Dark Love's effect. I don't want that, so that's why I let him to negate DPE's effect and wait what else my opponent is going to play. So he plays Full Speed Warrior and he tries to make a search from his deck. Again, I don't play Mask Change, first I activate DPE's effect. This is important because I wanted to see when I activate DPE, is he going to respond with anything else? Okay, I still had the priority, so that's why after DPE's effect, I chain with Mask Change. Now, you don't have to do that, okay, that's just a small tip that you can use from time to time, because either way, DPE's effect will be negated because of Forbidden Droplet. So now, I get rid of DPE and special summon Masquerade Dark Love. DPE's effect will be negated and he's going to make a search from his deck. Now, because I control Dark Love, its effect will be triggered because my opponent has added a card, and luckily we banished the card that he just searched. So that means he has no place. We go to battle phase immediately because if you remember, we used number 60 to get his effect. So that's why we have to attack, but that's okay. We don't have to finish our opponent this turn. As long as we protect Dark Love and as long as our opponent doesn't have much of ways to search his deck, we can still win this duel. So that's why I'm going to fast forward our combos. My opponent has literally no chance. If he summons something to the field, it will be negated. He cannot even send cards to the graveyard. We have 2 only negates. We can destroy a card. We can activate favorite contact to even destroy more cards. We have a hand trap in our hand. Like, our opponent has no way to get rid of this board except maybe playing a card like Super Polymerization. And that's how we win this duel, which is kinda bad for our opponent's case, but you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Now, this duel is one of the most interesting duels that I have ever played recently. I'm going to fast forward it because my opponent is playing a combo deck and I have no idea what type of deck is this, okay? And meanwhile, I want to talk about my hand. So, unfortunately, we draw a Dolphin, which happens even if we run a single copy, and even if we run 60 cards in our deck, we still get to draw it and we still get to break it. It happens. So we have a combo starter, which is Foolish Burial, but again, because we draw a Dolphin, that means we won't be able to Miracle Ejector with Foolish Burial. So we actually need another kind of combo starter. But unfortunately, we couldn't draw it. We have Miracle Fusion, which is most of the time we want to search this card, not draw it. We have Triple T and Forbidden Droplet, which is not bad because since we are going second, we actually need these cards in order to break our opponent's board. So this is kind of unfortunate, like all we needed was another combo starter so that we can do perfect plays. Now, I want to stop here for a moment because I need to explain a couple of stuff about my opponent. So basically they control Utopic Future Zexel. This is a really strong card, guys, but my opponent just surrenders. I have no idea why. Like, I don't know what just happened, because when you look at this board, this card's effect literally makes everything untargetable on the field, either my opponent's field or either in my field, okay? And this card is a taunt effect, so I have to destroy this card in battle in order to attack other opponent's masters. And this card literally had 5000 attack points if you haven't seen it, because my opponent just surrendered. And also this card can steal a monster in my field, and that turn it cannot be destroyed by a battle or card effect. So basically you can think this card as a tower. We use the term tower when a card literally cannot be destroyed by card effects, by battle, or cannot be targetable, etc, etc. Most of the time they are immune. It is really tough to destroy those cards, okay? But my opponent also has another Utopia card, which is Utopic Draco Future. This card has also a similar effect. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and because of the previous card, it cannot be targeted by card effects as well. And also this card can steal my monsters just like the previous card. It can negate my monster activation, etc. So my opponent has quite a strong field, and it's not going to be that easy to break this board. I mean, we can still use Triple T or Forbidden Droplet, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later.